Hey everyone, I'm super excited to be on with you today. My name is Tammy Anderson Ward, conference producer here with the Energy Healing Conferences, and I wanted to invite my new friend Michelle Gilbert to join us today for an after conference party, conversation, whatever you want to say. We've had so much fun just getting ready for the conference. But when I was talking to her on the phone, I found like we had so many things in common. And I was just really stoked to be able to have her on. Iridology is something that I feel like has really blessed my life in a lot of different ways. And my brother used to be an iridologist years ago. And so I've had a lot of practice, I guess you could say, sitting behind the bright lights with somebody staring into your eyes and writing things down. It was also part of the story of how I got started involved in energy healing. One of my sons who was having some health issues, he was only 2 years old at the time, and I took him to an iridologist, and she, was writing down a bunch of things, and then she like nailed it without me telling her anything that was going on. She was able to look into the map of the eye, the iris, and be able to tell me some things. And she even knew, she said, this is an emotional thing. So you're going to want to go see somebody else. I don't specialize in that. And that's when she sent me to my very first energy healer. So I am super grateful for people who have studied iridology and who have really just been able to bless so many people's lives with it. Michelle has been doing this for quite some time. She's very, very, very personable, easy to talk to. I've found her to be really compassionate. And every single time I walked past her at the conference, she was working with people like the whole time. I bet she was so exhausted at the end of the time. But I was just so impressed with her ability to just persevere and just keep going. It was really awesome. So she's got a way for you guys to connect with her. I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the comments right away, because I know some of you may not be able to stay on with us the whole time. And I want to make sure that you for sure have that link. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen as well. And if you're joining us live, I actually would like to invite you to participate in a giveaway that Michelle's doing. I'll let her talk about that in a little bit. But if you're joining in live, we would like to actually have you participate in that. And from the bottom of my heart, I love doing these because this is a way for us to connect. This is a way for us to chat and have like real conversation, not just class all the time, but like, let's chat, let's be friends. Let's talk about the things that we're interested in, right? So if you're joining us live, will you please comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring Michelle Gilbert on. Please welcome her to our virtual stage.
Hi, Tammy.
How are you?
I'm so good. It's a fun rainy morning today.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those really, really awesome mornings for me as well. I've been having a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah? Did you go play in the rain?
No, I ran on my treadmill to country music, and it was like positive country music, and I just worked my butt off, and then I cried. Have you ever cried on the treadmill? I do that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's really good. So, but I'm so excited to have you on here. Thank you for making time in your very busy schedule to jump on here with me. I'm going to have you talk for a few minutes here. I'm going to put you on the screen and kind of put you on the spot to tell people, what is iridology? How can it benefit them? Maybe even just a little bit about your own personal story, and then we'll go into some of the conference details as well. Does that sound good?
That would be great. Yeah. It was so fun to meet so many of you at the conference. Like Tammy said, we were super busy, and it was hard to really deeply connect with all of you. But for those of you who came by and said hi, I really enjoyed it. We did a lot of eye readings, and a lot of people weren't very familiar with iridology. Like the experiences Tammy had are not that common. But I started out as a master herbalist and really got into eye readings because I have different colored eyes, and some people have really unique marks in their eyes, and they just want to know what those marks mean. And that's what I was feeling. And so I studied to be an iridologist. I never really understood how powerful it could be until I was doing classes. And like Tammy said, we don't just see what the markings are in your body, but we can relate them to an emotional issue that you're going through. So this is a basic chart. I don't know if you can see that, of what we look at in the eyes. So if I looked at a person who had very blue eyes with lots of white markings on top of them, I could see that they were maybe experiencing pain and pain around forgiveness or something like that. And then I could help them know that maybe if that was correlated with their kidneys, we could work on their kidneys and we can work on forgiveness. And the two things combined are really powerful in helping them heal. So I just had an experience yesterday where I was doing an eye reading with someone I had met at the conference, and she had been doing all of these healthy things, but not really finding the results that she wanted. And so when I looked into her eyes, I was able to tell her that she was an overdoer and wanting to do more and more and more, but her poor little body was just tired and she wasn't finding enjoyment in the things that she was doing, that she just kind of felt a lot of guilt around having to try to heal and do all these things and not being perfect. And she just needed to try harder. And I was able to talk her through maybe finding a little bit more compassion and calming down and just enjoying the things that she was doing. One thing I taught her was to use an essential oil diffuser or some type of means of diffusing essential oil to calm down. What I use are these little tiny discs. They hang from your car or your shower. And this has really helped my life. A couple years ago, after I had my youngest daughter, I was really struggling with depression and not having energy. I just wasn't losing the baby weight like I wanted. And so one day my son got sick and I needed him to clear out his lungs. So I had him hop in the shower and I wanted to put eucalyptus in there, but there really wasn't a great thing that I had found to diffuse those oils. So I used some clay that I had and found that it worked really well. And he was able to start breathing a lot easier after that. And so I thought I would create something that I could use in the shower all the time. And as I started hanging up these diffusers in my shower, I noticed every single time I got in the shower, I would put the essential oils on and it would just raise my vibrations. And that energy that I would feel allowed me to start creating a healing routine in the shower. And it sounds kind of funny, but you guys, I have 4 kids, and alone time, especially time to meditate where it's really quiet and peaceful, doesn't happen a lot for me. And 3 of my kids are boys. And so they're really high energy. And so I just decided to create this healing routine in the shower. And I would put the essential oils on, hold my hands on my heart and breathe in deeply. I would just soak up that smell. And then I learned to start checking in with my body. I would ask, how are you feeling? Do you feel safe today? Is anything bothering you? Is anything hurting? And I would do some energy work with that. I would even do EFT tapping or anything I needed to get rid of some of the stress. And then after I had finished showering, I would turn the water on cold, and not the kind of cold that just freezes you out and you just want to turn it off. I learned that that wasn't the most healing thing for me because I wouldn't stay for very long, but I would turn it down really, really cold, cold enough that I was uncomfortable, but that I could still breathe. And I would picture all the water washing away the stress and the worry of my day. And that technique alone helped me overcome a lot of the depression, and my energy started coming back. And so I started teaching other people how to do this. And so when I talked to that sweet girl yesterday, I helped her see that, taking time for you to even just check in, even if it's just holding your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath and seeing how you're doing can be so powerful. I think especially as women, we don't always take time to do that. So today I want to give away a free car diffuser to anyone that signs up with this giveaway that I'm doing, because I want everyone to have the experience of trying that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I looked a little bit on your website and I actually could not find that particular giveaway on your website. Do you know where I send people for that?
I will send the code. It's part of a QR code. If we can just I can put it in the comments.
Okay.
And give you guys that QR code so that you guys can just take a picture and get the giveaway, because I did it just for you guys so that you would have that.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. That is really cool. And I actually do want to get some of those. So I went and found the link myself, and you're welcome, everyone. I put the link for you for the shower one in the comments. I thought that was such a fantastic idea. I actually have 4 boys. I don't know if my girls have been more stressful or the boys, honestly. Yes. I have 4 of each, right? But I really sometimes you just need to decompress. And even just that moment of doing that, I just really love that tip. That was very valuable. Yeah. Adding some oils to the shower, of course, that's going to help people, right?
Yeah.
My husband, he really likes eucalyptus when he is struggling with allergies and different things like that, just to help clear his sinuses and help him breathe better. And I just love that idea, even because you could change it up from day to day, right?
Yeah, eucalyptus is one I always keep in my shower, just on my shelf. I put a couple bottles of oil so I never have to get out of the shower to get them. So eucalyptus is my go-to. I always have it in there. I put like a citrus if I want to get energized, or a peppermint or something. Or if I take a shower before bed, it's always like a lavender or bergamot or something like that.
Oh yeah, I love that. Is that how you say it? Bergamot? I always say bergamot.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Tomato probably, but I love it. Thank you so much. So let's chat about some of your favorite booths that you were able to see at the conference. Who did you really connect with, or you got to hear a lot about, or you just really loved their stuff as you were walking by? Tell us a little bit about the vendors, first of all.
So I was lucky enough to be surrounded by some amazing people. Right next to me, I had the healing blanket people, and I sat there when I got like 2 minutes on the first day, and I just wrapped that blanket around me. And I'm telling you guys, it was just powerful. They infuse energy into these blankets, and they're all natural bamboo blankets, and they're beautiful. But I just found such a calm as I sat there in that blanket, even though it was warm outside. It was really healing. So I really like them. And
amazing. Yeah, we heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I picked up 4, or I picked up 3," or they got multiples of them. One lady, she said that she was literally with her grandson who had one, and he like, "Oh no, I think I left my blanket at the hotel." They had to go back and get it and everything. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. And what else?
The other side of me, I had Shallon, who was a foot sewer, and before we left, one night I asked them if they would just hurry and do a quick foot zone, because my feet were so tired after being on them all day. And so I initially went with like, okay, just help my feet. And I was so amazed at how I just felt more aligned and calm. And before I was speaking, I asked them to do a quick little foot zone, and it just really helped me to focus and have the energy I needed. So I really love that. Foot zoning can be similar to iridology as far as having a map, and so it was kind of fun to talk to them about that and the similarities we have.
That is really cool. Yeah, actually, when I got exposed to foot zoning back in 2012, I was very familiar with the idea of us having maps on our bodies already because of iridology, actually. So I didn't think it was all that weird, that there was these maps. And of course, now we've done things like I did acupuncture. There was an acupuncturist in the same building you were in. I've never tried that. So I was excited to go try that for the first time. But same thing. I mean, they're using a map on the body with the meridians and using the very, very tiny needles. I thought you guys, I'm like freaking scared of needles. I had my last 2 babies at home because I didn't want an IV, like no joke. And they put the needles in, and I didn't even know that they had put them in. Like I couldn't even feel them. It was so cool. I'm actually going to go down and do an appointment with them in a couple of weeks. So a full session, that'll be I'm like, okay, I just have to remember I didn't feel it,
Yeah, just didn't look at it.
Yeah, they said you can lay it down on a massage table and close your eyes. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. So, okay, so you did Shallon, and then talk about Anne with the healing blankets, right? Was there one or two others that really stood out to you, or that you maybe even heard people talking a lot about?
Yeah, I know that Tamara and Guy Lang, I bought their books a while ago and I didn't fully get into them till just before the conference, but they had scripts of how to get rid of difficult energies. And I'd been having family drama and it just felt like I wasn't in the right place. So I talked to them a little bit at the show about what I could do. And it was really amazing. I didn't know that people had scripts like that. So I thought that was really interesting to connect with them.
That's awesome. You know, I've always thought your website said ocean worm, but it says
Oh,
ocean worn, right? That's
yes.
an N-R-N. Okay.
O-R.
I think it's because I copied and pasted it that I had it correct. But just in case anyone else thought that same thing, it is actually W-O-R-N, right?
Yeah, it does kind of
Okay.
look like worm, I guess.
Well, that's what my brain saw. I'm so sorry.
That's
Okay, awesome. And then tell us about what you spoke on and what you were doing there.
so I love teaching people how to find joy in healing. And my journey becoming a master herbalist started about 16 years ago when I had my first son, and everything just went bad. And he had really bad colic, and someone recommended some herbs to me to help some mastitis I had and to help his colic. And they worked so well, like overnight,
Yeah.
that I wanted to know more. And even though I'd worked in the medical field my whole life, I kind of flipped flop and got into herbs. And everything with herbs was going great. And I really enjoyed teaching people and helping people. I had tons of clients and I used to speak all the time, but I felt like I was telling them, okay, you need to eat better. You can't eat this anymore. You have to stop. And people would be like, I don't know if I can. And I'm like, you have to stop. And I just felt like it was powerful. Like I believed that stuff, but they weren't changing in the way that they felt safe all the time. And so I started developing a way of dealing with mindset and how to really overcome the blocks of why people aren't changing, even though they know like eating healthy food is so good for them. And my whole business today that is ocean worn really changed when we moved to the island of Samoa about 7 years ago. And we went there because I was living in Utah in a really small town and just really wanted to actually start living the things I was teaching, like following my dreams. And I mentioned to my husband one day, I just really want to live by the beach. I've always wanted to live by the beach. And he's like, let's do it. And so we picked up and we moved to the island of Samoa. We didn't know anyone there or anything about it. It just looked like a really pretty beach. So while we were there, we were doing some humanity work for a shelter for abused children. And these children, we brought Santa Claus in and had all this food, and they did these beautiful island dances for us. And I just fell in love with the people and the culture. And they gave us a tour of their facilities, but we went into the nursery. And in the nursery, they had one lady taking care of 25 babies. And these babies were mostly victims of incest. The women were usually between the ages of 9 and 15 years old. And it was heartbreaking to see all these babies not getting love. And there was a baby that was 10 days old, and I just picked her up and was walking around with her and just loving her. And I happened to say to the director, like we kind of do in America, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. I just want to take her home with me, right? Like we say that stuff. And she's like, oh, would you? That would help so much. We are so busy over Christmas, and the lady that's over the nursery has to leave. And they weren't going to have anyone to take care of these babies. So I took this baby home. And anyway, we fell in love with her and wanted to adopt her. But they said we could, and then they wanted us to buy her illegally. And when we started finding out about this corruption, I wanted to change things. I wanted to help the children, and they were selling the moms too illegally. And there were so many bad things. And one day they just took my baby away when they said they were going to see if she was okay. They just took her and never gave her back. And I knew then that I had to fight for the children. And so we started collecting sea glass that was all over the shores of Samoa and turning it into jewelry with some of the children so that we could raise funds to fight some of this corruption. And we created the motto, "In the waves, tossed and torn, now refined, I'm ocean worn." And ocean worn is about changing difficult experiences that you have into something beautiful. And that's what I like to teach about, is changing the difficult experiences that we have into something beautiful. If we think of it like a radio, waves that are playing, and we just have a radio sitting here, we can tune in to the music we want to listen to, right? And I found that so many people come to me with difficulties and they don't know what to do. And I want to show them how you can start listening to the music that makes you want to get up and dance and enjoy life instead of the music that makes you feel horrible and sad and miserable. And so that's been my focus with Ocean Worn, is to giving back to the children. We still give back at least 25% of all profits to the children.
Wow, that's amazing. I never even heard this part of your story. Like, I didn't even know that. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And heartbreaking at the same time that's,
Yeah, it was incredibly heartbreaking. The good thing is we were able to change the laws and get people fired and help that shelter become a safer place for children. And so it is such a passion for me, even though it completely broke my heart. I got so sick after that and had so many difficulties that brought me back home, but it was worth it so that we could continue to help the children today.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, thank you so much for helping others and also for sharing the message of good health and just some really awesome stuff. I was checking out your website just a little bit more. There's a dry skin brush for your face. Like, what? I did not know that. And it's so affordable, $5.99. And I'm guessing it's probably softer bristles, right?
Yeah.
For your face, because your face is a little bit more like tender and delicate. And then also the wool balls. Oh my gosh. Yes. Every time I have a new housekeeper come, I'm like, no, do not buy dryer sheets. They are not okay. And they're like, why? I'm like, I just know I feel better when I don't use dryer sheets. They're like, but your clothes are a little bit staticky. I'm like, I don't even care. But then I found wool balls. So tell us about why that works and how, and why is that better for you?
They are some of my very favorite things. I've had my wool dryer balls in my dryer for almost 14 years and never had to replace them. They last forever. They decrease your drying time. So it actually saves you money. They help your clothes to become fluffier. I love to put essential oils on the balls, which is one of the reasons why I sell them. Lemongrass on a roller ball in your dryer is so fresh and nice smelling, and it lasts, for a couple of days. So you only need a couple of drops on your dryer balls. And everyone asks, do they stain the clothes? They don't. They don't get on your clothes. If it's a natural essential oil, it will just absorb and diffuse really easily. But I highly recommend them because it's a one-time purchase. It saves you money in the long run, and it's healthier. If you think about it, your laundry is one of the highest sources of toxins in your home, because you wear the clothes that have toxins on them. You sleep in the sheets that you wash that in, and use the towels, And so if you can do one thing to help reduce toxicity in your home, it's to change the way you do laundry, and using dryer balls is one of the best ways to do that.
Well, that's awesome. And you get 4 for $18.99. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Are really, really affordable. I mean, think about it. Even if you just used them without essential oils, just to save the cost of the dryer sheets and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So and they work really well without the oils too. I just like that yummy smell.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome. Okay, so let's touch really quick. What happens when somebody does book an eye reading with you? What does that look like? Let's say somebody's curious, they're maybe a little bit intrigued, but they've never done anything like that before. What happens when they do book a session with you? Why would you recommend it or suggest that for someone? And then tell us just a little bit, walk us through it just a little bit.
Okay. When people come to me wanting an eye reading, most of them don't know what that map looks like. So I'll show them this picture and give you a copy of it and teach you how it works. So up here we have the brain areas, and it moves down through the lungs and your back all the way down to your feet down here. And then this is backwards. This brain area, we get very specific and can see like the different thought patterns that you have. And then right around your pupil, this is backwards. This dark spot right here. These circles are your stomach and intestines. And so we can dive deep. We look at the eye color that you have, the different colors that show up into your eye, where they're showing up at, and the overall texture. Not only that, but then we compare it to the emotional things that you're experiencing, because many of your people know that the health conditions that we have are correlated with emotional things that we've been dealing with. So if I see someone that has a liver issue, I would know they're more prone to feeling anger. And that anger also in the pancreas can lead to resentment and things like that. Some of the blue and the white can be more kidneys, or the yellow. So we just look at the different colorings and things. So if I see a person that is experiencing things like anger, I could emotionally walk them through. If it's on the right eye, that would be more masculine energy, maybe things that they're doing or things that they have to experience, or people they're meeting with. It could be a father figure or male figure in their life. So I would look at the anger correlated with the eye and where it's at and how that is affecting their life. So what's so healing about that is, if you just went to the doctor and saw that you had liver issues, you could do the medical route, or you could do things herbally, but you're not always dealing with the emotional side of it. So iridology is great at helping you see the emotional connections that you've been creating in your body, sometimes for you, sometimes up to 4 generations back. And so you can be one of those people that gets to clear the energy for your family.
So let me just put it out there. If anybody's watching right now and you happen to have a question for Michelle, we're going to take like 1 or 2 questions just from the audience. So if you are maybe dealing with something specific that you're wanting a master herbalist / master iridologist to answer for you, this might be a great question. I know that you're going to be a little bit limited on maybe specific cases, but maybe more generalized questions would be really good and well received here. I am going to go ahead and wait for just a moment for those to come in. But in the meantime, Michelle, if you are dealing with somebody who is having some like emotional, health results from their anger, what would you, just kind of as a general, what would you kind of suggest for them?
So if you have a brown eye, a lot of times you probably have had stronger anger feelings and know what that feels like. A lot of times people hold them in to their stomach and they feel it like intensely. Some people will lock their jaw. So I'll start teaching them healthier habits on how to deal with the anger. But I also teach them about forgiveness and healthy habits to start coping. I will give them the herbs that I recommend. But the first things that I always do, if you're really dealing with deep anger, is to clear out your bowels, work on your kidneys, and focus on your liver, and then clear out your blood. So if you can do those things in that order, it can be really healing. So I like to do the herbs. I like to do the emotional side. And really, I take pictures of their eyes. So I don't do the live readings anymore if I can help it, because it really helps if you can see your own eye and compare that to the chart. Mm-hmm. And that will help you to associate, really, your body is showing you what you need to heal. Because so many times people have come to me saying, I really just don't feel well. Can you just give me some ideas? And I'll say, your body's talking to you. Are you listening? And they don't always hear it. But when you can see that in the eyes, I have so many sessions where people just cry because they didn't really realize that their body was feeling that and showing that, and that they need to work through it.
I love that. Well, I actually just posted a quote on our Facebook page literally just the other day, and I'm looking for it right now because I thought it kind of goes, it's on point exactly with what you're talking about. It says, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream.
Yes, that is exactly what I try to help people with, is we don't have to be sick and miserable to fix things. And actually our bodies want to heal really quickly if we pay attention to the small cues. It's like a fire alarm going off, and that we just choose to ignore it, and it just want, the pain to go away, or the the anger to go away, instead of like saying, well, what can we do with the fire? How can we put that out? Not just turn off the fire alarm.
I love it because I literally am like thinking, like, when I get in the car and that freaking seatbelt alarm, oh my gosh, I thought they had to have put a committee together to say, what form of sound could we create that people could not ignore? I mean, it literally feels like somebody's jumping on my last nerve when the seatbelt alarm goes off for too long. Like, there's no way my kids are not putting their seatbelt on.
Right.
And so, but it's the same thing with your body. It's like, hello, your body is trying to talk to you. There's these alarms going off. Listen, right? Yep. Okay, there's a couple questions coming in. Kathy Wilkes says, thank you for your questions, by the way. She says, can you tell what vitamins and supplements your body might need?
Definitely. If I'm seeing weakness in certain areas of the body, I will recommend anything. So different colors, you can see like heavy metal poisoning even. And so you might need to flush that. Or if there's certain bowel issues that aren't fixing, I would recommend parasite cleanses. But I always, not so much the vitamins, I really recommend getting a lot of your nutrients from your diet. But I will tell you, if I feel like you need a little bit more vitamin D or something, you could see that in the skin sometimes. The skin is the outer ring of the eye. And yeah, so I definitely, depending on the type of program you get in, if you come in with an initial eye reading, I'll just take the picture of your eye or have you do it at home and go over the map with you. But if you do the full reading, then I will give you all the dietary recommendations and herbs and lifestyle things that you can do to help heal that.
That is freaking awesome. That is literally so cool. I remember like when my brother used to do this, we would go over, well, we'd like be at a family dinner or whatever, and he'd just look in my eyes for like literally 3 to 5 seconds, and he'd go, you need to poop, or crude or whatever. We talk about poop at my house, so it's like not a thing over here. But he'd say, you need to drink more water. I mean it. Or are you meditating? Like I'm like, how do you know? You like look in my eye for that long, and you just know. But it's those signals, like what you're talking about. So I love it. Adriana, hey girl, she's from Arizona. She says, so these sessions can be done virtually?
Yeah, it can be a little tricky. Even when I'm live with people taking a picture of their eye, like Tammy did at the beginning, when you have to hold your eye open like that and shine a light, it's not super comfortable. You want to blink. But when you do that at home, I teach you, how you can get up close and shine the light and take a picture. Even with your phone, if you just are really close and take a good picture, I can do a really good eye reading with you that way. So it's definitely a possibility virtually, and I'll send instructions how to do that if you sign up for the reading.
That's very cool. So you guys can use the link. Martha says, I want an eye reading. Yeah, you do. Click on that link right there, and then you can go ahead and get scheduled with her. Also on that same link, just so you guys know, it goes over in more detail exactly what an iridology is. It does have actually the maps, and you can see that they are priced from $29 all the way up to $150, which is so affordable. That is so good for that value and that expertise. Having someone like explain that to you and look at that. That's really cool. So Kathy says, can you tell by someone's eyes what illnesses they have? I know that one gets a little tricky because of licenses and what you're legally allowed to say, but I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, we don't diagnose anything as an iridologist. We're not a doctor, but we can help you see that if your liver, like I've been talking about, is sluggish, I would definitely tell you, I recommend doing a liver cleanse or something. So I wouldn't say your liver is holding toxins and is going through some major problems. I would never say that. I would just say, I can see that your liver maybe is holding on to different things and that you should cleanse it or something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. But like, this is so helpful. And I know like there are like legal, I was going to say restrictions, but like that, and that's there to keep people safe. But when I have gone to an iridologist, I just have felt so cared about, and the expert can literally look in your eyes and pinpoint and help you through it. And when you have somebody that's really compassionate and knowledgeable, like Michelle, this is a win-win-win. So that's awesome. Kathy has one more question. She says, can you tell things like anemia?
I would look at the blood, which is also on the outside part of the eye, and see how that's working. So I could say, you know, maybe increase your circulation or take things that would help with anemia. And if you come to me and say, I've been anemic, then I could recommend some herbal protocols for that. But I wouldn't specifically look into your eye and say, you're anemic. I would definitely say there's something going on with your blood, and I would recommend doing this. So you could look at cholesterol. That stuff does show up in your eye, but I wouldn't necessarily say you have high cholesterol, you need to get on this medication. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, Michelle's a professional, so she'll definitely be following the laws, keeping everybody safe and you know, keeping herself safe too. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And when I was looking at cleaning my blood or giving it an iron boost, I always did stuff like liquid chlorophyll or blackstrap molasses. I mean, literally, I got to the point when I was pregnant with my 7th that I would like start craving blackstrap molasses, but I would put it in apple juice, mix it up and down it. And all of a sudden I had like an energy boost, you know, for like 2 hours, you know, I felt so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Or cayenne pepper. That's my favorite go-to herb. If you have blood issues, try drinking cayenne pepper. Not the capsules, but drink it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you can like make it into a drink, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or just put it in a small glass, down it, and then use a chaser or something like carrot juice or something after, right?
Yep. Yeah. It doesn't burn that long. And the reason I say to drink it is it gets right into the blood in your throat immediately. If you drink it where the stomach acids will kind of break it up more. So start trying even a quarter of a teaspoon once a day in some water. Like you said, a fourth of a cup is really helpful.
Yeah. My grandmother actually, who was a nurse for 40 years, and then she started doing a lot of more natural things after that. Whenever we had like a sore throat or anything, she would always have us do like just a little quarter teaspoon of cayenne, put it in warm water. She actually would put like a teaspoon of raw honey in with it too, but it was just very warm water, not hot at all, because she wanted to keep those enzymes. And then she'd stir it up. Sometimes she would put raw apple cider vinegar in it too, depending on if she thought we could handle it. And then she mixed it up, and then she'd have another little, just a little glass of apple juice to chase it with after. But you had to let it sit on there for a little bit of time. So I think it's probably to let it sit down on the throat and let it, the coating kind of, you know, do that. But I remember her doing that every day, but I literally do not get it on your lips because it burns. I'm just telling you right now. I always put chapstick on before I even start, just in case.
I love it. Yeah, my kids run away if like they get bloody noses. I'll be like, drink cayenne pepper because it helps bring blood to clot. And they're like, no. I'm like, what's worse?
That's awesome. Adriana says, how often does the info you get from the eye change? Like hair holds info for about 90 days. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great questions.
Those are great questions. I love that. There's a lot of controversial thoughts about that. I know like Bernard Jensen, who was one of the people that created Iridology as it is today, really looked into that. And he would track over time for like 30 to 50 years, people that had initially gotten an eye reading and then track it, and he would see differences in the eyes, but it doesn't change drastically, and most people don't see a lot of change. And if you remember when I started talking about iridology, I said that a lot of things we see in the eyes can be up to 4 generations. So it's not even your health that you're carrying in your eye. It could be ancestral things. So when I talk about anger, it could be anger that's passed on for years. And so it's not necessarily, you know, you're born with a negative. And so many people come to me and say, oh, you're going to see all of my problems. You're going to look at my eyes and see the trauma and stuff. And I don't. When I look into your eyes, I also see so many good things. I can tell if a person is very giving and loving and nurturing. And sometimes they would give so much that they would even exhaust themselves because they want so much to make people feel better. And I can see how they're very compassionate and very aware of their body and things like that. So it just depends. There's not necessarily negative things in your eye. It's just all made up of who you are and what kind of a person that you want to be. So it's not just even the yuck stuff.
Mhm. This is amazing. Well, I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart again for the after conference conversation, for sharing about your favorite vendors and the pluses that you got from the conference, but also for helping us to educate and learn more about the different things that we could do for our health and for the iridology to understand it better as well. I know it's definitely been a huge game changer for me, especially when I was very, very first starting out. It was one of the first things that I was exposed to. And I'm like, doesn't everybody know about this? I mean, but no, not everybody does. So I'm so happy to have you here and thank you. And we really appreciate you. If there's any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys go directly to her website where you can contact her. I'm going to put that up one more time. It's ocean-warn, WORN.com. Now I got it. I don't, hopefully I didn't send it to somebody to ocean worm, but I'm sure it was fine. And then if you want to go ahead and send us the QR code, I can do another post and that way people can go ahead and check that out as well. And we can email that out to everyone. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to go to her website and you can contact her directly, schedule an eye reading. I know I'm going to go get a facial brush for myself. I'm going to get a new set of wool balls and some essential oils as well.
So. I love it. Yeah. Thanks, Tammy. I really enjoyed everything about the conference. I was able to just meet so many amazing people and the energy there was really powerful. I was exhausted after, but more so because we were on such a high energy for 3 days, right?
Yes.
It was just really cool. But I just also wanted to let you know I'm doing a Christmas in July sale right now. So if you use the code Christmas in July, all caps, all together, no spaces, I'm doing 25% off. So if you guys want anything, use that code.
Okay. Holy crap. What? You should have told me about this before. Let me go ahead and put this in. Christmas in July is the coupon code.
Yep.
That they use when they're checking out. And it's freaking 25% off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay. I might get a few more things too.
Yeah. I don't do that sale very often because I try to keep my prices low for people. So this is a great time to get stock up on any health supplies you need.
Awesome. That's fantastic. All right. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Jenny. Bye.